Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Means we're brought to you by Immense Network Cloud IT Management. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Luke Foster and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up. You are here with us. Our Tuesday regulars will be here today. Sharif Ishak in hour number 2. He is from Oxnard, California. Saints starting up some joint practices with the Dallas Cowboys today, so we'll check in with Sharif in SoCal, and we'll get with Glenn West coming up at the bottom of this hour talking some LSU Tigers. Glenn did some reporting earlier today on LSU's basketball roster, and we'll get into that as well as plenty of football with Glenn coming up in 30 minutes. Blake Baker met with the media back on Friday. We didn't get into any of that on yesterday's show back from Shreveport, but I want to get into one aspect of what he had to talk about, especially LSU's secondary, coming up here in 15 minutes. So tons and tons to do. Unfortunately, we start with some bad news in our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Very shortly after I got off the air yesterday, the announcement was made and reports were published that Jordyn Tyson, Saints' first-round pick, would miss 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury. I don't want to be hyperbolic here, but this is awful. It's awful. Because Jordyn Tyson was part of, and the central part of, a retooling of this Saints offense, specifically with the pass catchers. Yes, getting Travis Etienne to be your featured running back was a huge piece to what you're trying to do. Absolutely. I'm not trying to suggest that identifying the best left guard on the market and plugging him in and David Edwards is not a big deal, but you went into the NFL draft, you drafted a wide receiver 9th in Jordyn Tyson. You took 3 wide receivers and a pass-catching tight end. Clearly, you stated a goal in the offseason that we are going to retool this group of pass catchers and give our young quarterback the tools at his disposal to have a great offense. And Tyson was the centerpiece of that. And while not having Jordyn Tyson for the next 6 to 8 weeks is not a hugely significant thing in the grand scheme, when you do weigh all the variables here, it's awful. What do I mean? Well, obviously, you're all aware this is not his first hamstring injury. If you just had a hamstring injury and you were out 6 to 8 weeks before you ever played an NFL game, and by the way, they've got 4 weeks before they play again, like, no big deal. Like, not great, but people get hurt. You come back. What you've got to look at now is Tyson's entire history, which many of you have done, which we have done, but I dismissed it to an extent because of this. In 2022, he blew his knee out. ACL, MCL, PCL, huge injury in 2022. But he came back after the 2023 season when he sat out. And in 2024, he was awesome. Fantastic year at Arizona State. Had a broken collarbone in November. It was a game against Arizona, broke his collarbone. Had to miss the Big 12 championship game, had to miss the Peach Bowl. But I don't care if you blow your knee out one year, come back, and then break your collarbone. I don't find those two to be related. I don't find there to be any significant risk in adding that person into your organization. And then you've got 2025. In October, he's got a hamstring strain, misses 3 games. And then in November, he comes back and injures the other hamstring. Well, now we're buzzing. Not because of the broken collarbone. I don't care about that. Not because of the knee injury. I think he's shown he's recovered from that. He's extremely explosive still. But now you're talking about multiple hamstring issues on a very dynamic athlete. And then we find out, call it February or March, leading up to the draft, there was an issue. I don't know exactly when it was, but it has been reported on. It has been confirmed by New Orleans that Tyson did have a setback entering the draft. So if you just look at his hamstrings, you've got an October injury, a November injury, and a February or March injury. That's a trend, obviously. But as I said in that process, just get it healed, and I'm okay with the risk because his skill set is exactly what New Orleans needs. Pairing him with Chris Olave, and then having the secondary options that they have with Vele, with Polk at the time, and we'll get to that, bringing in Barryon Brown, bringing in Bryce Lance. You've got some veterans with Bub Means coming back, and you've now got the makings of a real receiving corps. But you need Tyson. And then call it 6 months, maybe 5 months after that setback hamstring injury. We got this. Well, now I don't have a single injury that is recurring. I've got hamstrings that are prone to injury. It would be one thing if he strained a hamstring or pulled a hamstring in October and tried to rush it back for the combine and it happened again. And then 5 weeks later, he tried to come back. And no, these have quote unquote healed. The Saints could not have taken this any slower. They couldn't have. He didn't really do anything in rookie minicamp and OTAs. They let this heal. I don't think 5-6 months later, you're talking about a hamstring injury that is a recurring one. This is a new injury, same body part. That is awful. And it is absolutely fair game to question whether or not the Saints made a mistake here. I'm not ending Jordyn Tyson's career today. Far from it. I'm suggesting it is perfectly reasonable to look at this draft pick and go, we may have made a mistake. Because you have not even gotten to the first preseason game of his first camp. And the worst fear, the hamstring, has reared a significant injury. So they will take this very slow. They will not rush him back. They will give him the best treatment possible and check him out and use kid gloves and wait and wait and wait until he appears completely healthy. But at this point, you would have to suggest this is likely to recur. Because now we've got a sample size of about 10 months and 3 separate hamstring injuries. That's not a coincidence. That's a trend, and it's a troubling one. And so you look at what it does to the Saints pass-catching unit. And what appeared to have been a really well-reconstructed room that starts with Olave and has Tyson right behind him. And then you've got Devon Vele, who's proved himself at 2 different stops now to be a functional NFL receiver. That you're talking about number 3, and Jalen Polk, a former second-round pick, who looked the part. That's 4 very, very competent wide receivers before you get to Barryon Brown, before you get to Bryce Lance, and before you get to the Bub Means of the world. That is a well-tooled room. Well, now your first-round pick is questionable indefinitely. Questionable indefinitely. And one of your assets, which was a former second-round pick, retired. He's out. So now you're back to Chris Olave, Devon Vele, and then a bunch of unproven guys. And you're now back to where I don't suggest your number 1 is a top 10 NFL number 1. I don't suggest your number 2 is a top half of the NFL number 2 in Vele. And everybody behind them is not necessarily considered an above-average league player. You are now a well-below-average wide receiver room without having Jordyn Tyson, without having Jalen Polk. Now, if Barryon Brown becomes a stud, awesome. If Chris Olave goes with a new quarterback here and goes for 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns this year, well, then I'll change my tune and go, yeah, he was a product of having bad quarterback play. He is actually one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL when given a chance in a functional offense. I'm willing to change my opinion based on new information. But the information I have right now is that you're a well below average NFL wide receiving core. And you spent a lot of assets to go retool this group. And your top pick is a chronic hamstring injury, and one of your top 4 options retired. So this is not good. This is not good at all. I don't mean to sound every panic alarm in near sight, but this is a trend that is very, very troubling with Jordyn Tyson. So he's going to miss the rest of camp, obviously. Those are valuable reps for a young player, obviously. By the time he comes back, you're going to be in the middle of a season trying to game plan and potentially playing from a hole because your schedule's so hard right out of the chute with those 2 road games. It's just a hard way to ramp yourself up. And then you got to worry about it recurring time and time again. Such a bummer. Hand up. I loved the pick. I thought it was absolutely worth the risk because of his ability and where he fits on this roster. I thought it was awesome. And he showed that in the limited camp reps that the media got to see. They're like, yeah, this guy's different, fast twitch. Unfortunately, maybe his body can't handle it. Such a bummer for New Orleans to lose Jordyn Tyson. So you certainly hope that, hey, 8 weeks from now, that hamstring's healed. He gets into game shape. He's able to get into practice, ramp things up, and he's ready to go. Call it week 5. Ready to go. But that feels ambitious, doesn't it? I hope I'm wrong, but my tune has changed on that Saints pick at number 9 because I thought I loved it with the attributes that he has, but that medical was always a red flag, and it reared its ugly head prior to the first time the Saints took a preseason snap. We'll talk to Sharif Ishak about it coming up here at the bottom of hour number 2. We'll do that at 2:30. He's out in Oxnard, Saints and Cowboys going through some joint practices out west where it's undoubtedly significantly cooler than it is down here in South Louisiana this time of year. So good for them to beat the heat, and hopefully they get some good work in, but Jordyn Tyson will not be part of that. Blake Baker met with the media back on Friday. I pinpointed one thing that I took from his press conference, and I wrote about it for LouisianaSports.net today. We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. It's still August. That means they've still got unbelievable deals on trucks. I've been telling you about this one for 2 months. Still available, but you got to get by and see them on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s, 0% APR financing for 5 years, plus no monthly payments for 90 days if you go by in August. That's 3 months with no payments on those Chevy Silverado 1500s. If you're looking for 2026 GMC Sierra 1500s, they've got 2.9 APR financing for 72 months, plus an additional $1,500 in allowance if you get by in August. Want a new truck? Fabry Chevrolet GMC is the place you need to be. If you're looking for something that's pre-owned, they've got a pre-owned vehicle allotment that can meet any budget. So go by and see the inventory right there on Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or check out the website. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Fabry Chevrolet GMC online at FabryChevrolet.com.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tell you about the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at highlandig.com. That's highlandig.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team, they're awesome when it comes to group and employee benefits. I know that's a sore spot for a lot of business owners these days. You want to insure your employees. You want to make sure that they've got the right medical insurance. You want to make sure they've got the right dental and vision, but it's expensive. It can be cost prohibitive. And if you can't get the benefits right, you might lose some talent from your organization. You don't want that. But the bottom line is important. And the Howard Insurance Group knows that, and they're not promising you that they can come in and shop 11% off the top. They're promising you a conversation, and they're promising you that they have options. They can give a second opinion. They're an independent broker that's got contracts with multiple carriers, and if you're with a carrier and you have been for 5, 8, 10 years, and those rates keep climbing and keep climbing and keep climbing, and it's getting uncomfortable for you, talk to Jonathan Carbo and the Howard Insurance Group. See what they can do for you. They've had a lot of success with businesses in South Louisiana, making sure that their employees are properly covered. So talk to Jonathan and his team at the Howard Insurance Group. They're online at highlandig.com. All right, Blake Baker met with the media back on Friday, and we didn't get really into any of that sound because obviously we spent the vast majority of the show on Skip Bertman, but there was some of it that I enjoyed, and I think Blake Baker's going to have a good defense this year. He talked about wanting to get more more return yardage on those interceptions, and we saw back on Friday the defensive backs working on interceptions and returning those interceptions for big plays. And there are a couple of pieces to this bite that we're going to play that are interesting. One, talking about the importance of actually getting those balls into the end zone, and two, the attributes in his secondary that he enjoys. So this is LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of guys being more in tune to exactly what the scheme is, and then you look at, sometimes it comes down to just better players, to be honest with you. And when you look at us this year, man, we have great length in the back end. All those guys have extremely good ball skills. And when you look back on the tape in a self-scout standpoint, I think we had four interceptions where we were tackled by a quarterback last year. So it's a point of emphasis. We need to turn those all the way into touchdowns. You can look back at the OU game. Whatever play, early first drive, we pick it off, get to the 4-yard line. Instead of scoring, we throw a pick the next down. So it's been a big point of emphasis for us this fall camp.
Interesting. So 4 times tackled by the quarterback. I didn't know that. I did remember that they got that pick in the first quarter, that first drive of the Oklahoma game, and Terrell Perkins ran it down inside the 5-yard line, and then Michael Van Buren threw an interception on the first snap LSU ran in the game. So, yeah, I did remember that. But LSU did a great job last year getting their hands on the football. LSU last year had 17 interceptions. That was 9th nationally. So DBU was making plays on the football, and they expect to do that again. They want to pay those off, and I think they will make some plays on the football this year. You look at what you lost in Mansour Lane and A.J. Halsey were certainly really, really key pieces to your secondary, But DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland come back. You're well aware of that. Those two combined for 5 interceptions and 12 pass breakups last year. Ty Benefield has been a ball hawk his entire career. He had 5 interceptions at Boise State, had 17 more passes defensed. Tamarcus Cooley had 2 interceptions last year. Deshaun Spears comes into the star role. We know he had a couple of interceptions, including one that he did cash in for a touchdown against Florida last year. These guys have experience taking the ball away. And one attribute that I really enjoy about this LSU secondary, I talked about it in the spring, but we're revisiting it now that football is upon us. This is an incredibly rangy and long secondary. Nobody out there looks like DJ Pickett. He's 6'5" corner. There just aren't a lot of those. The long corners are 6'1". Like Haven Finney is a long corner. He's 6'1". Pickett is enormous, and there's video of him over the weekend making a high point interception against Trey Wilson, who he's significantly taller than, who plays wide receiver. Pickett's got the ability to use those long arms and that leaping ability to go up with every wide receiver that LSU will face. And there's no question about that. Now, PJ Woodland's not the biggest guy. We know that. He's a little bit undersized, but you look at the other guys in that secondary. Ty Benefield is 6'3". He's 6'3". Deshaun Spears is 6'3". You look at Benefield, Spears, and Pickett, that's 6'3", 6'3", 6'5" in the secondary. And what does that do? Well, it's just like a basketball team playing a zone defense. You got that length and range. You tighten windows. You make passes have to fit into smaller places. You're able to use your arms and your range to outreach wide receivers for contested catches and to knock those away, or better yet, bring them back the other way. It's a really, really great skill set, a great attribute to have in the secondary. Now, look, LSU's had plenty of really good defensive backs that weren't necessarily 6'3" or 6'5". Like A.J. Halsey last year was closer to 6 feet tall, but just a menace out there. Y'all are well aware of that. But I like the length and the range that this secondary brings, and I like the fact that they can get their arms on wide receivers and tight ends and make things a little bit more difficult for them. And I don't worry at all about P.J. Woodland's size. P.J. Woodland plays 5 inches taller than he is because he's physical and he sticks his nose in there and he's tough and he just gives you a lot of physicality in an undersized body. But the other guys are not undersized. They're legit. And there are so few things that we can tell when we go out to practice. Like I've harped on this now for 3 weeks. Y'all get the point. We don't see a lot. But we can see the players. You can see them physically. You can see their size. And they're not inflating what Ty Benefield is physically. He looks like an NFL safety. He's 6'3". He's big and filled out. He's a 4th-year college player. Yeah, he's huge. Deshaun Spears has looked like Eric Reed since he got to LSU. He's just a big dude. 6'3", north of 200 pounds. He's big. And he'll be down there in the box at times. He'll be in the slot playing some coverage. He covered phenomenally last year in limited reps. He didn't play a ton, but when he did, he was really, really good at it. And then Pickett's got a chance to grow into a star. Like the whole number drama thing is going on here, but I don't care about that. I care about what goes on the field. And he's got a chance to be the next great one. Am I ready to put him in the category with Mansour Delane? Not yet. Mansour Delane last year had a year that I would put with very few in the history of LSU football. I would put it with Stingley in 19. I would put it with Webster in 03. I would put it with Tre'Davious White in 17. Is that right? Close to that. I would put it with Claiborne in 11. I would put it with Peterson in 10. In terms of just pure coverage. I realize I didn't include Tyrann Mathieu in there. That's a whole different category. But in terms of just lining up and locking dudes up, Delane is in that category with those groups. But Pickett's got the ability to be that good. And he's got something that none of them had, and that's arms that are go-go gadget arms. And so that is a really exciting thing for this LSU team in terms of its composition defensively. I spent a lot of time harping on the things that concern me about LSU's defense. I'm concerned about the freshman at defensive tackle. I'm concerned a little bit about some of the PFF grades for like Daugherty and Keys at linebacker. I'm a little bit concerned about the depth at corner. But as far as like real strengths, yeah, I have no concerns over LSU's ability at the front end coverage at corner. I have no concerns about the ball hawking ability of Spears, of Cooley, of Benefield especially. That is a absolute strength that I feel great about entering in. I'll be honest with you. There are some parts of the team that I feel great about, some that I don't. I think this time of year, most of people are feeling really good about everything with the teams that they cover. I'm not there, but as far as the talent in the secondary goes and the physical attributes of the secondary, yes, that's a hit. And surprise, surprise, okay? Corey Raymond's gone out there and gotten the guys that fit the bill. By the way, as I mentioned earlier, Haven Finney's next up in this group. He's 6'1" as a freshman, and he's a reclass. He should be a high school senior, and he's already long and rangy. These are the guys he identifies. These are the guys he brings in. Just so happens Pickett and Woodland are his guys right now, and I feel really good about that. Really, really good about that. So Blake Baker does too. Now they got to get those interceptions like they did last year, top 10 in the country in interceptions. Bring them back the other way for scores. We like that. Didn't tackle by the quarterback 4 times last year. That's a stat I did not have. But Blake Baker pays attention, and so we'll see what this group looks like coming up in 2026. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you every single week by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. That's Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net. I want to remind y'all, as I do every single Tuesday, that y'all can catch me at Sports Trivia at Court to Table every single Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So, looking for something to do this evening, come on out and see us. They got all the TVs lined up. They got awesome, awesome food, great drinks. You can win gift cards every single round in Sports Trivia. It starts at 8 o'clock, and we wrap things up around 9:15. So, it's not an all-night affair. About an hour and 15 minutes, fast-moving, and always a lot of fun. So if you got a free night this evening, then come on by and see us at Court to Table at 8 o'clock. We'll step aside, talk some football, and then some basketball news as well with Glenn West next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Check them out online at maruccisports.com. That's maruccisports.com. Take a tour over there at Marucci. You can learn the story of how Marucci came from a backyard shed and ultimately 2 decades later became the official bat of Major League Baseball, the best bat in the game, used by the best players in the world. How does that happen? Well, you can learn about it. And you can take a tour and see where 1,200 bats are made every single day. See where they're cut, where they're stained, where they're shipped off to the best in the world. And if you're looking to take some swings this fall, the school year is upon us. You got a youth baseball or softball player under your roof that's just eating up with it, wants to take swings, become a member of the Hitter's House. You got 24/7 access via key card into their batting cages, into their pitching situation, and you can check that all out if you're a member at the Hitter's House. So find them online at maruccisports.com. That's all there at Marucci.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging along here on a Tuesday, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We'll have Sharif Ishak in an hour from Oxnard, California. He's out there with the Saints as they do some joint practicing with the Dallas Cowboys. So looking forward to catching up with Sharif in sunny SoCal in 60 minutes. Right now, we'll talk Tigers with Glenn West. He's senior writer over there at On3, part of the team at the Bengal Tiger. He's with us on Tuesdays. Glenn, how are you?
Doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there. I want to know if you've learned anything about this football team going out to practice for 12 minutes at a time.
I've learned that they are really a Division I football team. I've learned that they have some really talented players. I've learned that they are going to throw the ball with Sam Levitt. I think that they're going to run the ball with guys like Dylan Jones and Harlan Berry. I think in all seriousness, I do think that this is a team that has a ton of ability, a ton of talent, and they're right in the middle of this process of just trying to figure out what the best pieces are. And I think honestly, one of the best answers I think Lane Kiffin's given all fall camp came when I think it was Matt Moscona asked yesterday, just kind of about the rosters as a whole and just kind of what they're looking for at this point in the year. And basically Kiffin said they're in constant meetings about, essentially what players could fit in what kind of roles, and not necessarily just for week 1 against Clemson, but they're looking ahead to week 3 against Ole Miss, week 4 against Texas A&M, guys that maybe aren't on the radar right now, or maybe they feel like can grow into some bigger roles as the season moves along. They're always in constant evaluation of their depth chart and of their roster. And I think that's probably been one of my bigger takeaways from what Lane Kiffin's had to say this fall. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like in terms of just what we see in week 1 against Clemson out on the field versus maybe what we see at the end of the month even against Texas A&M.
One of the guys I want to talk to you about is Jordan Ross, because when I hear people talk about Jordan Ross, one of the first things they say is 5-star, which is cool. Mm-hmm. He was a 5-star 2 years ago. He has a sack and a half as a college player. Would you be more surprised if Jordan Ross had 11 sacks or a sack and a half like Jack Pyburn had last year?
Probably I would lean more towards 11 sacks. I mean, you're talking about 11 sacks there. That would be probably the second highest sacks in program history, because I think in a single season, I think Key has 12, which is the all-time record. So I would lean towards that being the answer there. I think if there's anybody that's going to break double-digit sacks, it's going to be Prince-Wal Uman-Mielen. But I do think that they like Jordan Ross. That's not to say anything bad about Jordan Ross, but he also missed practice yesterday, and we saw Dylan Carpenter getting some run with the first team. I think Lamar Brown is certainly ascending up the program as well. So they're going to have some competition there, and I could see that being a rotation kind of deal at edge opposite of Prince Will until they kind of figure out who works best opposite of him and who gets the most consistent pressure on the quarterback. But Ross will be in that number for sure.
I'm starting to be able to tell when Lane Kiffin's wheels start rolling and he's actually giving you an answer, and then sometimes he just dismisses the question completely. And one of the ones where he did start talking and thinking was talking about the freshman playing a lot on the defensive line, and does that concern you? And he did use the word concern and said that old teams win. Do you share that concern with that youth that is going to be Going to be out there early and often on the defensive front.
Yeah, I think we can. There's two buckets to this line of thought, right? We can be super excited about what those guys and what their futures hold, and getting them on the field as quickly as possible, what that could do for their futures. But you also have to kind of blend that with the fact that there'll be some growing pains here early in their careers as well. And that was even something that I think Blake Baker touched on last week when he was asked about those three freshmen as well. And so they seem to be on the same page there. That there could be some growing pains with these three guys, but also, I think it says a lot about where LSU thinks this rotation is right now, that Anderson and Gerald's, particularly on the interior, are filling such a massive role, and that's that they beat out guys like Stephylon Green and Malik Blockton and Dominic McKinley so far. So I think that those two guys, if they're the ones that are the most ready to play Week 1 against Clemson, those are the ones that are going to play the most. And so I will be curious to see just though kind of how that rotation works on the interior in particular, because I do feel like that with edge you can kind of ease Lamar Brown into it a little bit more. I do think there are a few more options out there. We've gone out there in practice, and Deuce Gerald's from day one of spring to right now in fall camp has been the most consistent interior lineman that LSU's used with the first team. And so massive expectations are going to be placed on his shoulders right from game one, it would appear.
Glenn West is our guest, senior writer over there at the Bengal Tiger, part of the team on 3. We've seen some highlights sprinkling out. They certainly curate those intentionally. We've seen diving catch, I think, from Malik Elzy. We've seen a touchdown run from Harlem Berry. Saw a pick from DJ Pickett. Any of those catch your eye in any way?
I would say the run from Harlem was one that was really fun to watch, just because not only did it look like Harlem ran with some conviction there and hit the right hole, but it was a massive hole that he hit. I mean, if you watch the video and you slow it down, the offensive line really opened up a pretty gaping ocean for him to run through and to do damage with. And so if that's something that we can expect to see more of from this run game and from this offensive line in particular, then I think this run game could be a real strength for this offense. And it always is for Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, right? I mean, you always have to have that run game that balances out the pass. And they honestly, in some years, have even been a better run team than they have been a passing team in terms of their efficiency. So I think that's a mega good sign if they're able to continue to open up those kinds of holes for guys like Barry, for Dylan Jones, for Stacey Gage / Caden Durham, and for Levitt too. I mean, he's going to have some quarterback design runs. He's going to scramble some as well. But I do think that this run game appears to be on an upwards trajectory, and that's something that's really started from the early days of fall camp.
Where do you think Caden Durham fits in?
Yeah, it seems like he's battling right now for a role and for some reps there. I do think that there's a pretty clear 1-2 with Dylan Jones and Harlem Berry, and then it's going to be about who out of Stacey Gage and Caden Durham earns the what's ever left over. And so, I think there's still so much untapped potential with Caden. I think he's been, he's played through some nagging injuries his first couple of years, and this was a really big offseason for him, and it looks like right now he's going to be fighting for some meaningful reps, or for a lot of meaningful reps. And so I'll be curious to see what that looks like. But right now, just based off of everything we've seen and heard so far, I would say he's probably behind that Jones and Barry pairing. And it looks like Stacey Gage is also a guy that's really caught the eye of a lot of coaches.
Do you have a read on backup quarterback?
I would probably lean Husan Longstreet. I mean, we were out there yesterday, and Levitt got his full allotment of throws, and he was getting his full repertoire of individual drills and throwing against air. But I would say that Longstreet to me had by far the second most reps with that group in individual drills. And so I do think that they've been pleased with his progression throughout the offseason. I think that he's somebody that, can fill that backup role and do some of what is needed should something happen with Levitt. But I would probably lean towards Longstreet right now over Clark for that number 2 job.
And let's transition over to basketball. I know you wrote a little bit about the approaching school year and LSU's lack of public numbers to this point. What have you learned?
Yeah, I reached out today because I thought that there might be a question from you today about basketball. So nothing news earth-shattering here. I think it's pretty much what most of us have expected for a while, but it looks like it'll be either next week or kind of around Labor Day. I was told right before or right after Labor Day is when we should have some announcements on the rest of the roster. So that obviously coincides next week with school starting. So hopefully we can get some answers here on some of these these international guys, some of these other transfers that they've been working to get eligible and get officially a part of the program here. And it sounds like that should come together either next week or somewhere around Labor Day, which is also kind of around the time where your last day to add and drop classes is. So it makes sense that would be the timeline that LSU's looking at here. So hopefully we only have to worry another several days or so.
So I have 3 C words here that I'm curious where you fall in with LSU's roster basketball-wise going into the school year. Are you curious about it? Are you confident in it? Or are you concerned about it?
I'm more curious. I would say more curious than either confident or concerned. I think that's a good middle word to use there, because I just think that there's so many new pieces from so many new places that they're going to have to get indoctrinated into their system and into their way that they're going to have to play this year. And you're only really going to have about 6 weeks. Like if we just do the math there, if LSU, for example, doesn't announce all their players until September 4th or 5th, well, that's only about a month until you have your first scrimmage against McNeese, and then you have another month after that until your first game. So you're really talking about anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks here, where you really have time to get your full roster together and get those guys gelling and get the chemistry going. So I think in that respect, it's a little concerning, but I do think that there's also a lot of really talented players, and that the wait will be well worth it here if they get across the finish line the guys that they're thinking they'll get across the finish line.
Glenn, we appreciate some time. We'll see you at practice.
All right. Thanks, Hunt.
Here's Glenn West, senior writer at the Bengal Tiger, part of the team over there on 3. I want to remind my friends over at Ochsner, it is back to school time, and our friends at Ochsner are well aware of that. For student athletes, parents got to make sure they're prepared with an annual sports physical. Proper hydration is obviously key. Stretching, rest, the right protective equipment, all very, very important. Start the school year on the right foot. Sports can help reduce stress, build confidence, improve social skills, and make them a great way for kids to stay active and engaged throughout the school year. If you're looking for extended afternoon hours after school as well as weekend appointments, you can find those at select locations, and they provide you some extra flexibility for busy families balancing school, work, and those extracurricular schedules. So for more tips on helping your family start the school year healthy, safe, and ready to succeed, visit www.ochsner.org/br. That's ochsner.org/br. Chugging along here on this Tuesday. Curious probably is correct for me too when we're looking at this LSU basketball team. There's a touch of concern. A touch. My confidence level is low because I just don't know enough to be confident. It sounds like LSU's staff is confident, and that's more important than how I'm feeling about it. But I am a little bit curious and perhaps a little bit concerned and really not all that confident because of the secretive nature of the entire operation. Now, look, I'll say this. I will expect Will Wade to be a little more reserved, a little closer to the vest this time around as opposed to last time, right? That just makes all the sense in the world. We know what happened. But I am curious about why it's been so slow and hopeful that there's some real news over the next couple of weeks. I think LSU school starts next week, and then got a couple of weeks before the ad drop date where you really need to be enrolled, and there's some leniency for student athletes, especially those who come from international. So they've got some time. But it's going slow. It's just going slow. So we always appreciate Glenn helping us out with a little bit of information there. ESPN.com ranked all 138 college football teams in tiers. Where's LSU? Who are they tiered with? And then where's Clemson? I'll tell you that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services, online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. Neil and Melissa, been running the show at Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. Generac home standby generator, you got to have it. Got to have it. Gives you the peace of mind to know that you're not going to lose power. I was actually in Shreveport yesterday, as you're well aware. It's 1,000 degrees up there, and my parents' power went out in the middle of the afternoon. But they do have a Generac home standby generator, and everything was cooking. It's awesome. It's what you need to have this part of the world, especially this time of year when it's really hot and those grids are stressed, and we've got afternoon thunderstorms and, of course, hurricanes as well. If you want that Generac home standby generator, Boudreaux's Electrical is the one call you need to make. They've had the exact same phone number for 40 years, 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. Or you can call the Gonzales location at 225-300-9389. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Winding down hour number one here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Cybersecurity may not be top of mind for you every day, but it's important, and it can be very, very disruptive and extremely costly if it's not taken care of. And Immense, when you partner with them, can proactively monitor your network to make sure that you're not vulnerable to those cyber attacks, where you can be locked out of your system or information can be compromised. And then all of a sudden, whether it's your employees' information or it's clients' information, it gets in a hand it's not supposed to be, and you've got a real problem on your hands. Immense can help you with that cybersecurity. You may think of IT as just, oh, this person's computer's frozen, or oh, this person clicked on the wrong thing, and go help him so he can get back up to speed. Security is an important deal, and Immense takes it very, very seriously. So if you're if you're here in South Louisiana, or you're a size of 50 to 100 employees, that's their sweet spot. They'd love to work with you on the IT front. No long-term contracts. They are month to month, and they will earn your business. It's Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net. ESPN.com's got a piece up right now that's ranking all 138 FBS teams in tiers. And they have kind of descriptions for each tier as opposed to just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tier 1 is the safest bets. These teams are very, very strong bets to be really good. That's Indiana, Miami, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. I would suggest that Indiana's earned that over the last 2 years. Miami's got a huge amount of money and talent that they poured in, and Ohio State's great every year. Notre Dame's got some real talent, and their schedule is just I don't even have a good adjective to describe how utterly atrocious that schedule is that they put together. But those are the safest bets to be really good teams this year in Tier 1. Tier right below that is, of course, Tier 2. Got some trust issues, but should be very, very good. That's Georgia. That's Oregon. That's Texas. Big brands, big-time recruiting classes, coaches that have been established at their locations now for a handful of years and for longer than that for Kirby. But trust issues, but very, very good teams. That's Tier 2. Tier 3, maybe this is their year. That's where LSU falls. It's BYU, it's Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, USC, and LSU. And I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable to put LSU in a group with Oklahoma, who made the playoff last year, brings John Mateer back, has a really good defensive coach, and just needs to be better on offense than they were last year. LSU's got to be better across the board. But A&M has some real pieces back for sure. Texas Tech spent a lot of money. We'll see what they can do at quarterback. And then USC, people feel a little bit better about them this year. But LSU falls into Tier 3 with some teams that most believe will be threats to make the playoff. I think most people believe that A&M and Texas Tech, USC, Oklahoma will be threats to make the playoff. That doesn't mean they won't drop a third or fourth game, but threats to make the playoffs, but not necessarily considered national championship game contenders right this very second. And then I wanted to see where Clemson comes in. And you look at number 4, nope, that's Alabama. We're still here. Alabama, Michigan, Ole Miss, and Utah come in at number 4. Of course, Ole Miss, Utah moving on with different coaches. So is Michigan with hiring Utah's coach. And then you got Alabama right there, who's around but not considered right now like a threat with the top teams in the sport. They weren't ranked in the top 10 preseason. But we're still here. That's Tier 4 with Alabama, Ole Miss, Utah, and Michigan. Then you get to Tier 5. Always so close, but no cigar. Iowa, Louisville, Penn State, SMU, Tennessee, Washington. No Clemson. We've gone through 5 tiers. That's Iowa, Louisville, Penn State, SMU, Tennessee, and Washington. Of course, you know that Penn State's made a playoff, SMU's made a playoff, Tennessee's made a playoff, Washington's made a playoff. People think Louisville's going to be a little bit better. I hope they win their first game. They're playing Ole Miss, and Iowa just usually has a good defense and wins like 8 or 9 games. When you get to Tier 6, probably fine, maybe good, possibly mediocre. That's Tier 6, and that's where you find Clemson. Probably fine, maybe good, possibly mediocre, which is kind of what Clemson's become over the last 3 years. Like, there was a year where they made the playoff, oh, that's pretty good. But last year they were mediocre. Probably fine is probably the best way to describe them. Like, they're not going to fall off a cliff and go 3-8, 3-9, because you've got a bunch of 4-star recruits and Dabo's, decent coach. But they're in the 6th tier in this ESPN thought. And that's kind of where most people have them. They're not ranked in a lot of preseason rankings. And I'll tell you all this. I'll just come out and say it. We got 2.5 weeks till they play the game. I'm feeling pretty good about LSU in week 1. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I did not like LSU's chances against Florida State in 2023, and they lost. I was really torn on that USC opener. I kind of wanted to pick against LSU, but I regret it, but I honestly went and it's like, I'm just not going to kill the vibes on a Friday before this game and pick against them for the 2nd straight year. I'm going to pick them to win. I thought they had a decent chance to win, but I didn't feel great about it because I didn't love their pass defense, and ultimately they couldn't cover USC. And then last year, I really liked LSU's chances against Clemson. I liked the defense, and I thought they would be good enough on offense with Nussmeier that they would win that game, and they did. This time around is unlike any of those. I feel like really confident about LSU against Clemson because there's a chance that LSU just has this 8-4 ACC team coming in. That's just not. Yeah, they got the paw print on the helmet. Yeah, they got the coach with the championship rings. Yeah, they've got the characteristics of Clemson from 6 years ago, but they might just be, which is the tier that they're in. ESPN says probably fine, maybe good, possibly mediocre. And that's kind of what I think. And I think LSU's better than them, and I think that stadium is going to be on fire. One, the temperature is going to be very hot, but the energy level in there is going to be on fire. And I reserve the right to learn more I reserve the right to change how I'm feeling as the game gets closer. It's natural to feel differently 2.5 weeks out than it does a day out, which when I'll give my final prediction. But right now, based on preseason prognostications, what I know about the Clemson roster, talking to folks in Clemson media, doing hits on their radio shows, they might not be very good, y'all. And Dabo will love that all the way to the bank until they're not good, and then he won't love it so much. He'll love, you're doubting us, y'all doubting us again. Everybody thought we were great last year, and it doesn't really matter, which it really doesn't. But if you're really actually not that good, then what? It's kind of where I'm feeling now. You can read that whole thing over at ESPN.com. That's our first hour here. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on demand. Search Hunt Palmer Show wherever you find your podcast. Of course, on YouTube as well. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints. We got Meet the Freshman coming up. Sharif Ishak from Oxnard, California in 35 minutes. We'll pause for Sports Center. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That is FabryChevrolet.com. Every single car that is on the lot is online at FabryChevrolet.com. That includes their incredible inventory of new vehicles, which you can search by make and model, search by price on those. It includes their pre-owned vehicles, which they have to meet any budget. So if you've determined what you're looking for via make and model, then search that on the website, FabryChevrolet.com. If you determine that you're more interested in price and we'll figure out what you can fit into that price range, well, then sort by price, and you'll see every car they've got on the lot right there. Maybe it's a new vehicle, maybe it's a pre-owned vehicle, but they got you covered. And you'll have a wonderful buying experience when you go by and see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, and see what the Fabry family's been doing for 35 years, which is taking care of the Baton Rouge community. Go see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or check out that entire inventory, new and pre-owned, online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus, the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm John Ryder, the founder of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen has passed away at 93 years old. He launched ESPN in 1979 as the world's first 24-hour TV network. Turning to the NFL, and Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that the league will eventually have a team permanently based outside the U.S. Giants are signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Baseball, the Dodgers are 75-51, but have struggled some over the past month and a half. Royals analyst and former first baseman Eric Hosmer on those struggles.
When you hear Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, speak in his press conferences, he is trying to wake up his players, man. Like, you can see he is not happy the way they're playing. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, we set the standard here. We're playing against ourselves, not the other team, and we're not playing up to our standard. So to hear Dave Roberts say that, that's kind of that wake-up call before October here, and you can't just turn it on. We got to be playing good going into October.
Eric Hosmer on the Pat McAfee Show. Diamondbacks placing all-star second baseman Ketel Marte on the restricted list after he was a no-show for last night's game against the Red Sox in Boston.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen are still searching for a Super Bowl appearance. I'll tell you if they finally break through this season. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope your work week's off to a good start. We'll talk to Sharif Ishak from Southern California coming up in 30 minutes. I just chuckled. I didn't listen to the clip. It's just a quote I saw on Twitter. But, of course, T-Bob's up there at Barstool, and he was on the Mostly Sports podcast today. And Brandon Walker, apparently, and again, I didn't hear the quote. There's a video of it, and I'm confident they just transcribed it. But I saw the quote written out in the tweet. And Brandon Walker tells T-Bob, will you start acting like a bleeping Division I college football player and stop trying to cosplay as a bleeping nerd? And I'll say this. This is apparently in relation to him talking about Dungeons and Dragons. He's not cosplaying. I know T-Bob. He goes to all kinds of these like festivals and wears like wizard costumes, and he plays a lot of chess, and he loves painting figurines, and like he's not a meathead in any way, shape, or form. He is a nerd who just happened to be the son of an NFL player and therefore was 6'3" and 310 pounds and was a good enough athlete to play college football. And he loves football, but it's not an act. We know T-Bob around here, and I think they know him in Barstool now well enough, but he's happy to talk Dungeons and Dragons. He'll talk some football with you, but he'll talk some Dungeons and Dragons. Brandon Walker just didn't appreciate that very much. So, Let's get into our second hour here, and let's do the next installation of our now daily segment until we hit all the freshmen. It's Meet the Freshmen.
Meet the Freshmen. Freshmen, meet the freshmen. They're the newest Tigers on the team.
So 2 more freshmen today that we will get into that I think have really bright futures on the perimeter for LSU. That will start with Haven Finney. Haven Finney is a cornerback that Corey Raymond identified for the 2027 class as the top cornerback in the nation, and got his commitment, and then Haven Finney decided to reclassify. So as Haven Finney begins his first season in college football this year, he is a year early. He should be a senior in high school this year. He comes from Carson, California, Sierra Canyon High School, is a really long, rangy corner, as you would imagine that the number one corner in the country would be that Corey Raymond would recruit. He's 6'1". On3 actually lists him as 6'1.5". LSU lists him at 6'1". But he is, if you go out to practice, you'll see like he's a long dude. He's not a big dude because he hasn't filled out. He still should be a senior in high school, but he's a big dude. He's listed at 6'1", 173 pounds. But this is a guy who has a really, really strong pedigree and was the number one cornerback in the nation in his class. Now, when he reclassed, all that got jumbled up. He was the 174th ranked player by Rivals in the new class. He was the 80th ranked player by ESPN. 24/7 ranked him as the number 29 corner. ESPN thinks the most of him, the number 12 corner in the country in this class, but he was in the top 5 of all the outlets in his proper class and then reclassed. But was still a 4-star and still considered a really good get for LSU. He did enroll in the spring and has been going through a weight program, and this is the next guy up. And I really think that he's got a potential to get to the field this year. When I look at Haven Finney, I look at the top of LSU's depth chart, and I see DJ Pickett, and I see PJ Woodland, and I see Jakeem Jackson. Those are the top 3. Beyond that, I think you see Michael Turner and Haven Finney are right there because Aiden Anding would have fit in there, but he got hurt. So if there is an injury, if there is a targeting foul, if there is a second targeting foul, or whatever the case may be, and LSU loses a corner, Haven Finney is a potential player at the dime. Now, if you pushed me on this today, I think it would be Pickett, Woodland, Jackson, Turner, Finney. I think he would be 5th. But that's my opinion. We'll have to see if, in fact, that does happen. He is really talented, and I think got a chance to be really good at LSU. I think he's a year away from being that. You do have Pickett for another year. I think you may have Woodland for another year. He doesn't ooze NFL draft pick to me, but he will have been here for 3 years and could move forward. We'll see what that looks like. Aiden Anding will be back for the spring next year, and Finney can push. But ultimately, the moral of this story is that Corey Raymond has restocked these shelves. And there is a reason why he did not go into the transfer portal and get a top-tier player. LSU went and got a dude out of the transfer portal at every position. Levin at quarterback, Seaton at tackle, Ba at guard, Jones at running back, 12 wide receivers, Uman Mielen at edge rusher. They went and got linebacker, who you figure could be among the SC's tackles leader in Daughtery. On the interior, you went and got Blockton and Green. You went safety and got Benefield. Like every place on the field, LSU went and got a starting level player except corner. And to me, that suggests that they know that they've got real dudes behind Pickett, behind Woodland. I still think they're short on depth, and the Anding injury hurt really badly. But I think Corey trusts his high school evaluation and trusts his guys. Because I just assumed they would go get the next Mansour Delane. Not that it would be the should have been Thorpe Award winner. He should have won that award. But the best corner in the portal, I figured they just go get it because Corey has that ability. I think they think a lot of their young corners, and Haven Finney is one of those for sure. The next freshman on our list today is Jabari Mack. Jabari Mack comes from Destrehan over in New Orleans. This is a guy who was a consensus 4-star recruit, was a consensus top 11 player in the state. ESPN had him as number 4 player in the state last year. And then you saw Rivals had him as the number 8 player in the state last year, number 39 at wide receiver. The trait for Mack is his speed. He's not huge. He's 6 feet tall. He's 200 pounds, so he's well put together, but he's really fast. He was a track athlete at Destrehan and was an Under Armour All-American. As a junior, he really burst onto the scene with 58 catches for over 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. He also, as a sophomore right before that, was a regional qualifier in the 100 and the 200, so excellent track runner. He can really go. Unfortunately, we haven't seen as much of Mack in the last 2 weeks because he has been dealing with an injury, but he did return to the practice field with the team on Saturday. So on Monday. He was there on Monday when I was out. So that's a really good thing. I don't think Jabari Mack fits into this crew. You got too many veterans, too many guys at the top of this food chain who are proven commodities at the college level or fourth-year players or former 5-stars. I think Corey Barber and Jabari Mack are going to have to wait their turn as freshmen. But after this year, very easy to see Jace Brown move on, Trey Wilson move on. It's conceivable that Trey Brown would move on. It's conceivable that that a lot of these guys, Jackson Harris could potentially be moving on. There's a lot of guys at the top of this food chain that could be moving on after this year, and there should be some young players coming up. I don't expect LSU to restock the shelves with 12 wide receivers every year. Got to keep some guys involved, and the guys that are from the state, you figure you got a better chance to keep around. Jabari Mack is a good athlete. He's filled out. He's got big speed, and I think they like him a lot. And this is a guy that Lane Kiffin did want to keep around in this class. He did look at 2 LSU wide receiver commitments when he got here and told them, hey, you might want to look elsewhere. And they brought Corey Barber in. But Mack has got a chance to be a really good player here at LSU, and I think it's probably a year, potentially 2 away. But they've just got too many veterans at wide receiver at this point. Good to see that Jabari Mack is healthy. Good to see that he's running well. And good to see that LSU brings in another Destrehan guy, because a lot of times those guys tend to work out. It's had a pretty good track record bringing guys in from Destrehan to LSU. So that should meet the freshman today, Haven Finney out at corner and Jabari Mack there at wide receiver. We're knocking off 2 every single day. Almost halfway done. We'll be halfway done after tomorrow's edition of Meet the Freshmen. So you can want to listen to those and kind of get yourself acclimated and acquainted with LSU's freshmen. You can do that at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your podcasts. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about what Blake Baker had to say over the weekend. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. That's where you can find them. You can find them in Baton Rouge. You can find them in anywhere in the state of Louisiana, over into the state of Texas as well. You want to be able to trust your roofer, because most of us, myself included, don't know what you're looking at up on a roof, don't want to climb up on a roof. So how do you know if your roof's in good shape? How do you know if there's damage? How do you know if you need a new roof? Well, you got to trust that roofer will go up there and take a look at it and do the right thing, whether that's get a repair done, whether that's just a fortification, or maybe you do need a new roof. But oftentimes roofers will come in here and sell you their most expensive product, which is a new roof. Maybe you need one, but if you don't, Lifetime Roofing's not going to gouge you like that. They're going to take care of you because they care about this community. It's Baton Rouge-based, Louisiana people that understand how important roofing is around here with the storms that we deal with almost on an annual basis. They can help you. So check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. If you need new windows, need new siding, need gutters, Lifetime Roofing can help you out with that as well. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Take some time to tell you about our friends at Gotros Outdoor Power, online at gotrosonline.com, gotrosonline.com. Got some great end of summer deals right now at Gotros Outdoor Power. So you got to get by 2 locations. Of course, you know, they're on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and in Gonzales. If you want up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero turns, 0% financing as well, you go to Gotros Outdoor Power. Still grass cutting season. It's going to be growing past Halloween, this part of the world, this time of year. So if you need a new zero-turn mower, you look no further than the group that's been the Hustler Dealer of the Year nationally 2 of the last 3 years. You look at the largest Hustler dealer in the state, the largest parts inventory in the state. That's all there at Gotros Outdoor Power. So up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero-turn mowers. 0% financing is available if you check them out at one of their 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge or in Gonzales. Gotros Outdoor Power. That's Gotros Outdoor Power. All right, let's go back to Blake Baker's time meeting with the media at the end of last week. First time we've talked to Coach Baker since the spring. And he discussed a number of topics, some I think more captivating than others. He spoke about now that he's had a spring and into some fall camp competing with Lane Kiffin and working alongside Lane Kiffin, what his relationship is like with the new head coach of LSU.
I think Coach Kiffin and myself, you know, like any relationship, you try to feel each other out, and it's been outstanding. You know, I think he's been really, really good to me. There's times as a head coach he wants to see certain things, but a lot of times he suggests, and it's a true suggestion, and a lot of times they're really good ideas. He's a really smart football coach, regardless of what side of the ball it is. But I've really enjoyed my time with Coach Kiffin, and he's been really, really good to me, and I really appreciate him for that.
I do like the brain trust at LSU. I like Kiffin at the top. I like Charlie Weiss on one arm. I like Blake Baker on the other arm. I think LSU's got smart people, good communicators in important spots over there on campus. We'll see if that nets out to a lot of wins. I think a lot of people would suggest that it will, but I'm comfortable with that for sure. I'm not quite as comfortable with LSU's depth at its edge position. I think with situation now where Gabe Relaford's out for the year, you've got Damian Shanklin not with the program, and Lane Kiffin declined to comment on that yesterday as well. You are a little bit short on edge depth, in my estimation. Blake Baker was asked about that.
I think I've seen a lot of growth out of some guys, really from, when you look at Jordan Ross, when you look at P. Will, they just got here in the spring, how much they've already grown. Dylan Carpenter is a guy that, he's absolutely been outstanding. When you talk about where he came in as a freshman to where he is now, you don't see that much anymore because a lot of times they'll leave before that. But, man, I can't be more complimentary of him and Lamar Brown. And we, Kalaj Cobbins is another guy. So I feel good about our depth. I think we have some really good explosion off the edge as well. And they're all complementary of each other. Some guys have really good strengths in one area compared to another. So we're going to be able to play around with those weapons.
There's some talent there, but Iman Mielen's really the only guy that's produced. Like, I'm not here to doubt Jordan Ross's talent. I'm not here to doubt Lamar Brown's talent. But they haven't produced at this level. One has not been given the opportunity now as a freshman, but the other one has had 2 years at SEC school. So we'll see how that looks. You've got to rush the passer, though. And LSU did create some rush last year. They didn't get the quarterback on the ground enough. That was the biggest problem that LSU had. You look at their sack numbers, and I missed on this. I thought LSU last year was going to be really, really, really productive when it came to sacks. And they just weren't. You look at the SEC, and you were all year long hovering around the bottom of the conference in sacks, and you ended up when the dust all settled, LSU was 10th in sacks. If you go to sacks per game, LSU was 12th in the SEC out of 16 teams. They just didn't get guys on the ground. They did produce some turnovers. They got some rush, and they got 17 sacks, and the edge works in doing that. And Blake Baker's talked about his philosophy of getting pressure and creating turnovers and getting guys on the ground.
Yeah, rush and coverage works together. Again, I think we have a little more explosion off the edge. There were several times, again, when you look back at us last year, we have a great pass rush, and maybe we just weren't able to close and finish on the quarterback. But they definitely work together. Big point of emphasis, in my opinion, I think we only had 4 or 5 fumble recoveries. So, if you're out there, you see us being a lot more proactive, coaching strips on the ball and punches at the ball and trying to increase that number. But definitely, the better the rush, usually the more interceptions you have. But some of those interceptions, the quarterback's got to make a decision, take the sack or throw the ball to us. So, again, those numbers sometimes can be a little bit misleading as well.
You did a great job with the interception part. It's the sack part that just didn't go quite as well. And so now you're looking at your defensive front, the group that's tasked with getting a lot of those sacks, and a lot of that comes off the edge. But you also are talking about having guys on the interior, and then Lamar Brown that are young. And the question is, how do you feel about having Big Richard Anderson, Deuce Geralds, and Lamar Brown playing a huge role in what you're trying to do defensively? And Blake Baker talked about those guys.
Yeah, they're as good as I've been around, especially when you talk about a trio of freshmen. I mean, we've thrown more install at this group than I ever have in my career. And those guys are repping with the 1s and the 2s, so they're getting the full install. And there's been growing pains. We're going to have to fight through the freshman wall at some point. I think all 3 of them are doing a good job fighting it right now. But I am proud of where they're at now and where they've come from. They work at it. They all love football. They got really, really bright futures. But you'll see all 3 of those guys on the field.
I'm going to be just blunt with y'all as I can be. I'm going to be guarded on this deal. That doesn't mean dismissive. That does not mean pessimistic. That does not mean I think it's a disaster. I'm just going to be guarded in how much praise I'm going to heap on 3 freshman defensive linemen. And y'all know that, y'all have listened over the last couple of weeks. And that's the position I'm going to take. I will come up here with bells on. I'll be so excited if against Clemson, Lamar Brown has 2 TFLs and Deuce Geralds is blowing up plays at the line of scrimmage and Big Richard Anderson gets the game-winning sack. I will be just so ecstatic that that's the case, and I'll change my tune on things as things change. But I'm going to be guarded with going, well, he was a 5-star, watch him wreck this offensive line. Because dominating at Carr or U-High is not the same as dominating Clemson. Now, they're getting work right now against SEC players. So the coaching staff knows a lot better than I do. But my official position entering the season with 3 guys with no experience being key cogs in the defensive front is going to be guarded with the door open that makes you vulnerable. And if they prove to me that's incorrect and they really are that good, and look, Blake Baker says the best he's been around. Kiffin said best he's been around. Ogeron, best he's been around. They've said that. They know better than me. But I'm just not willing to get swept up in this August bonanza where we're just determining that these guys were 5-star recruits, and so they're transforming LSU defense immediately. I'm just going to wait on that. But I'm hopeful. I'm just going to wait. Just so y'all know, just so we're clear, I'm going to wait on that. And the last piece here with Blake Baker is the final bite we're going to play, talking about TJ Daugherty, who's the other end of that spectrum, and how he has grown into a leadership role in the middle of the defense.
I think he brings a lot of leadership. Obviously, having Witt in there, he's complemented that really well. An unbelievable work ethic, and really is a great example to show the young guys. He came in, really studied his tail off, and is able to pick up the playbook very, very quickly. And he's just another voice, I always say players, man, they get sick and tired of hearing the coach all the time. But when it comes from the players, again, Witt and him especially, it probably rings a little bit in their ears a little bit louder. So he's not afraid to say something when it needs to be said, and not necessarily in a negative way. A lot of times he's trying to build the guys up. So I'm as appreciative of his leadership, especially on the defense, but especially in the linebacker room, as much as I am about his play.
And I think it said a lot that they took him to SEC Media Days. I know that's not everybody's most it's not the week that everybody looks forward to on the calendar all year long, like maybe we do because of the nature of what we do professionally there. But I just thought that him coming to SC Media Days said a lot about the leadership qualities that Lane Kiffin has already seen in TJ Dowder, and then you're hearing them from a guy that just met him this year and just brought him into the fold. But you are going to have, if you do have some youth out there on the field, if you do have Big Richard Anderson out there, if you do have Juice Gerald's out there, if you do have Lamar Brown out there, if you do put Haven Finney out there at some point at the corner spot, you do have some old guys out there that are helping, and Whit Weeks and Devon Keys are certainly two of those guys. Prince Ulamon Mielen is old at this point. Tamarcus Cooley's played a ton of football. Ty Benefield's played a ton of football. Devon Keys has played a ton of football. Dylan Carpenter's been around a long time. So you do have a lot of maturity on that defense, as most teams in college football do. There aren't a lot of young college football teams these days. But LSU may be a little bit young in spots on that defense, and having somebody like Daugherty, like Weeks, like the guys that I just rattled off in the secondary to be on-field leaders for those guys and kind of show them the ropes is very, very important, and obviously LSU will take that extremely seriously. So I like Blake Baker's defense. I think that he's going to get this thing figured out. I have some trepidation about where they are up front, and I'm concerned if there is an injury at corner. But you look at the top end, you look at that first 11, and if you tell me those freshmen can play up front on the defensive line, I like where they are at linebacker. I love where they are at corner. I love where they are at safety. And you got one very much proven edge rusher that you feel like can get after the passer routinely, like Uman Mielen. So that's a look at Blake Baker's defense. We'll continue to discuss that as we move forward. But I enjoyed what Blake Baker had to say over the weekend. I wrote a couple pieces about it at LouisianaSports.net that you can go check out. If you're looking for your LSU content, you can find it there. You can find it at Hunt on LSU as well. Ross is out in California with the Saints. If you're looking for a practice report, you can get that from Ross at LouisianaSports.net for free as well. Always free, no pop-ups, no paywalls, no article limits, just LSU and Saints coverage you're looking for at LouisianaSports.net. Speaking of the Saints, they're out in Oxnard, California. Sharif Ishak is there for WDSU, and he's going to jump aboard when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com. Been at this 116 years. 116 years, First American Bank and Trust, and they've grown over those 116 years to 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. That means there are always one near you. So if you need a local bank, want to get that commercial loan or that personal loan, and want to deal with someone local in your community, First American Bank and Trust is the first call you need to make. They're happy to help you, and when you call them, you don't get a call center in Atlanta. You don't get a call center in Manhattan. You get someone in Southeast Louisiana. When you deal with someone at First American Bank and Trust, you deal with somebody who's part of your community. So if you want that personal loan, that commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I haven't checked the thermostat today. My guess is 99. Just a reasonable guess as to what the temperature is out there. Probably much warmer than that out in a parking lot near you. Sharif Ishak's not in a parking lot, nor 99. He's in Oxnard, California. Give me a temperature reading, Sharif.
Well, technically, I'm in a parking lot walking into the Dallas Cowboys facility, but it is 78 degrees and it's
78 degrees.
Yeah. You feel bad for me?
How's that going?
It's beautiful. I mean, going from 100 or 98 and going down to 78 and then going to the beach after to do my live shots is very braggadocious of me, I should say.
It is. You should feel bad.
I feel terrible for you guys.
All right. Well, tell me what the Saints are doing this week.
Well, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Jordyn Tyson or do you want to start with joint practices?
I want to start with the schedule for the week. We'll get to Tyson and receivers as we move forward. But what's the schedule?
All right, so the schedule is going to be this joint practice about maybe a little more than 2 hours because last week's joint practice hit around 2:05, 2:10. So I'm expecting it to be around the same time. So they're gonna have this joint practice with the Cowboys. Then they're gonna have a little light walkthrough practice tomorrow at Oaks High School. I think it's like in Thousand Oaks. So we're gonna go there tomorrow. That's gonna be, I guess, in the morning Pacific time. I think they're talking about bumping it up because they have another practice the following day. Then they're going to have that Rams practice 10 Pacific time, so 10 to 12, so noon to 2 Baton Rouge time. And that's going to be another extensive practice. And after that, off on Friday. It might be an off or walkthrough because I know we don't have any availability on Friday. Then the game on Saturday.
So a big week, obviously, joint practice with two different teams out in California and then a preseason game to cap things before they come on back to the Gulf Coast. Let's talk about Jordyn Tyson now. What's your biggest takeaway from the latest developments with him? We hear he's going to be out for 4, 6, 8 weeks.
It stings and it stinks because they essentially bubble wrapped him this entire offseason. They ramped him up only for him to get hurt after having a fantastic 2 weeks of training camp. He was doing it all over the field, man. He was quick, smooth, and all parts of the field. He was just a really good part of the offense and really big-time help for Tyler Shuck. I guess you could say the good news is it happened early. The bad news, though, Hunt, is it going to happen again?
Yep.
This is the fourth hamstring injury. Now they have to get into the preventative measures of this not happening again. You know, you don't want to see this happen over and over again. You spent the 8th overall pick on it. Now you have people saying, well, I told you so. You shouldn't have drafted him. Well, I told you so. He had injuries coming in. Why would you draft a skilled player that has hamstring issues? Too late to think about that part. Now they have to find a way to make it preventative. But look, they've had a lot of players in their careers to deal with hamstring injuries. Odell Beckham dealt with it in his rookie year, came back and won the offensive rookie of the year. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but hamstring injuries seem to happen a lot more. Lance Moore talked to me about this earlier this week about how he had hamstring issues and he had to figure it out what it was. And it could be stamina, could be, hydration. He's just got to go to a specialist and figure it out at this point. And the Saints have to figure out the preventative measures moving forward because they need him on the field. And it's an obvious statement. They need him on the field. The good thing is at least they're deep there now, which is something we couldn't say last year. But it really hurts, man, considering the camp that he had.
Yeah, look, your depth's hurt. Obviously, you lose your first-round pick, and then a guy that you made a trade for, and Jalen Polk decides he's going to retire. So two of the guys that are in your top 4 or 5 are no longer with you, one for permanently and the other one indefinitely. So what does it mean for the depth chart behind Chris Olave? What's up?
Well, we go Chris, you go Devon Vele, then you have the two drafted guys, Barryon Brown, Bryce Lance, and then after that, it's open. I mean, I think Bub Means can make a really good case for himself. He's had a strong training camp. He showed out a little bit last week against the Jags, really did well in the preseason game as well against the Jags. Then there, it's like, who is it? Is it Kevin Austin? I'm a guy who can play special teams. He's a big body who can go across the middle of the field for you. So you have some choices there. You really do have some choices. That's why it's good for them to be deep. I'm interested to see if they try to go pick up somebody else. I don't know if they necessarily need to, but maybe going and find somebody else wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he misses those first 4 or 5 games of the season. So, but at least Bub and Kevin Austin are on the field contributing for this team and trying to make the roster, positions 4 and 5 or 4, 5, and 6. Because I don't know. Does he start on the PUP, IR with Jordyn? That's going to be the big question.
So you had a chance to look at Tyler Shuck in a joint practice last week after we finished with you, and you'll get a chance to see him a couple more times this week. Was there improvement from Tyler Shuck from what you saw in the joint practice last week with Jacksonville?
So maybe we were right. He's a better gamer, live shot player than an as-live player because, the tendencies of your defense seeing you every day, they start to know your tendencies, and they get to see all of your motions and your actions. And he got out there against the Jags, and he carved them. I mean, he started like 7 of 8. He threw 3 touchdown passes, couple to Chris Olave. I thought he, worked the pocket really well. I thought he moved really well. I'm interested to see how that carries over because these two defenses are complete different beasts. I mean, they keep adding pieces. I mean, I add Von Miller. I don't know if he's going to practice today. I know he's signing today. Let's see what they do against the Rams defense, which is already a perennial Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
Where we're going to see how this first team offense and the first team defense really sits after, 2 very good joint practices. But as far as Tyler, I was impressed last week. I truly was. The way he was ripping the ball down the field, throwing it into tight coverage. I'm anxious to see how he does that today against another very good defense.
We understand the caveats that are around preseason games, but I didn't think Spencer Rattler looked very good on Saturday,
Nope.
and I did think that Wilson looked better, even though we know he's playing against guys that are likely to get cut. What did you make of last week with the backup quarterbacks?
At least he looked better against the backups. I would not want to look bad against backups. That's how you start getting questions of, is there a backup quarterback competition, and that might be a really good case in this situation. But I thought they were all right. I thought Zach was, I thought he managed the game well, and he was in. I mean, he made some really good passes to Bub and then Barry on down the sideline. I thought he did well. I mean, he's a veteran. I mean, he's had a bunch of starts since he was drafted in the NFL, so he knows what to do. And it almost feels like, man, Spencer struggled, and there's no reason to struggle whenever you've been in the system now going into year 2. And it just was bad, man. And some of it could have been on the offensive line. One of it could have been on a whiff, by Estime when that strip sack happened. But it happened, and it's on his watch. So wasn't a good game for him at all.
Sharif Ishak's our guest, coming to us from Oxnard. The Saints and Cowboys will practice a little bit later on this afternoon from Southern California. Curious your thoughts on the Saints defense and what you're looking for in this week from the starters when they're out there in practice work.
I thought they started fast and finished fast against the Jags. This is going to be, once again, I keep saying, a completely different beast because they're going against Dak and then they're going against Matthew Stafford. Both guys have been sharp throughout this training camp, and this is going to be a test for Kool-Aid and Quincy. This is where we see how good they really are going against these receivers, fast, big receivers. So, yeah, man, look, the defensive line was fantastic last week. I mean, Chase Young just ate that offensive line up last week. I mean, he said he felt like he had a half a dozen sacks, and I agree with him. It felt like he did have a half a dozen sacks. So that's something that we could possibly see, how that carries over this week against Dallas and Rams. To the Rams, man, these two offensive lines are nasty, man. This is like something I've been looking forward to seeing, this defensive line going against these offensive lines. So I thought they played well last week, and this is going to be another prove-it situation for that defensive line.
What about Christian Miller?
He's here. He hurt his shoulder during the game, so
right.
he's healthy enough to practice. You want to be careful with these guys, man. You're not trying to get them hurt early in training camp, which has been the situation with a lot of nicks and knacks of injuries. So he played well in that Jags game. I thought he had a couple nice TFLs. He got in the backfield quickly. So he's impressive, man. I mean, I can see why they drafted him in the second round.
Do you feel like you're going to see Kendre Miller in action this week at any point?
I don't know. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. Not watching him be out there in the field, but I'd be shocked. He was in street clothes last week. I don't know how much a difference a week's going to make, but time is ticking. Time is ticking.
Yeah, that's my next question. It's like, how long am I going to sit here and wait? I realize that we're not cutting anybody this week, but like you're getting there.
Yeah, time is ticking. He needs to get out there in the practice field ASAP because the other guys are starting to eat up that position. So if he doesn't get out there, it's going to be could be his final time with the Saints.
Any thoughts on the kicking competition last week? Obviously, you saw another miss in the dome from Charlie Smith.
Not good. I keep saying I don't know if the kicker's on this roster. I know Tanner Brown's a little bit better, but right now, if you ask me, I think Tanner Brown's a little ahead, but it's one of those ugly kicking competitions at this point.
All right, anything else that we're paying attention to this week, and where can everybody find y'all's work? I know that everybody will be following along as y'all are now out there in California.
Posting a million videos today from practice at Sharif WDSU. That's my Twitter. That's where it's all going. Everything. I mean, every single play I can shoot, I'm going to put it on Twitter. That's where you're going to see all the highlights that you can't see and all the beautiful weather you can't enjoy.
Well, Ross Jackson got put in Twitter jail for going over 50 tweets during the preseason game, so don't do that.
No, Ross Jackson is standing right next to me. See?
Wow, Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, amazing work.
Yeah, there he is.
All right, get to work, Sharif. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you next Tuesday.
Sharif Ishak, WDSU, out at Saints camp in Oxnard. It's a nice little summer junket for the old Saints beat to head out there. A couple of years ago, they went for like 4 weeks. Like the whole training camp was out there until they came back for preseason games. This is just a quick week, but it's a really important week for the Saints in terms of evaluation, a little bit of development, just kind of seeing where you stand, and it won't be public. Like, it'll be public in the sense that the media is there, but it won't be like a preseason game where we get to watch it. It's just going to be a sense of reporting on it and how it looks. But we know that last year and this week, the Saints played the Rams in a joint They practiced with the Rams in a joint practice and just got whitewashed. Like, we know that happened. And that's not surprising. The Rams were maybe the best team in football last year. They didn't finish the end, but they may have been the best team in football last year. And the Saints were not. They weren't even close. So it's not surprising that the Saints, especially before they'd ever played a game in a brand new system with a quarterback who ended up not being a starting player like that, it didn't go well. But this year, it should be a fairer fight. The Saints should be on relatively even playing field with the Cowboys. Relatively, the Cowboys might be better. But the Saints should be on relative. It should not be a mismatch. And the Rams are better than the Saints, but hold your own. Go out there and hold your own. And that will be a good day of reps against one of the better teams in the NFL, if not the best team in the NFL, to put on tape so the coaches can evaluate. They can see what guys did well, can see what they struggled with, come back and spend the last couple of weeks getting ready to put that team together, that first roster together, I should say, and get ready for the season. So, it's not one where we're going to either queue up a Super Bowl parade for February or cancel the season based on how 2 joint practices go, but it is important to go out there and hold your own better than the Saints did last year, because it would be concerning if in either of these practices the Saints get dominated on both sides of the ball. That would be concerning because you feel like you should have graduated beyond that at a certain point. It's still August. We're not making sweeping judgments, but big week for the Saints. Sharif's out there, and we'll have it all covered at LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson is there. He will have observations from practice up, and I'm very excited to read that. Ross will, I'm sure, be checking in with Matt on AFR throughout the week, and we'll get to Luke Johnson on Thursday, and probably one more guest, either Kat Terrell, Sean Fazand, or somebody out there in Oxnard and in California as the Saints make their tour of it this week with the Cowboys and the Rams. All right, we'll step aside. One more break, one more segment. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. That's SwingEasyGCBR.com. Awesome place to work on your game. If you're thinking, man, I can't find the time and place to practice golf. The range I like to go to, like, it's barren because it hasn't rained and the grass isn't growing back, or it's 1,000 degrees and I can't keep my hands dry, or the golf balls are not any good and I can't really tell because they're scuffed and they fly all over the place. I get it. Like, sometimes the ranges aren't the best. But at Swing Easy, you can eliminate all those variables. You can hit off that mat in a controlled environment, no wind, quality golf ball. You don't have to worry about grass growing or wind blowing or the heat. You can just work on your game. You can see the trajectory of your shots. You can see your swing speed. You can see your ball velocity. You can see your carry distance. You can see where your club impacts the golf ball. They've got a great slow-mo that I find exceptionally helpful. So you can work on your game at Swing Easy Golf Club. It's a great place to do that. If you've got an hour and a half, great. If you got 25 minutes, great. Swing Easy will take you no matter what. It's on Segan at Perkins. You can find them online at swingeasygcbr.com. That's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. When something breaks, that oftentimes just means an unexpected expense, right? Well, not if you partner with Immense, because they're watching, and if they'll know before anything goes wrong, you can make it one flat monthly cost, and that can replace an unpredictable repair bill or a surprise emergency. That's because Immense is always monitoring your system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, proactively taking care of things that could compromise you. So if you've got an IT department that's overworked, you've got an IT department that maybe isn't as proactive as Immense may be, they're not here to replace your IT department. You may have some employees who do a great job at handling things internally, but Immense can just help them. It's a Baton Rouge-based company. They've been at it for 20 years. If you're a business of 50 to 100 people, that's right in their sweet spot to help you out with your IT management. It's Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net. That's immense.net. All right, tonight I will be at Court to Table, 8 o'clock sports trivia. If you want to spend some time hanging out on a Tuesday, make a night out of it, we'd love to have you there at Court to Table. It's about 8 o'clock to about 9:15. It's 5 rounds, live action trivia. You can win gift cards. You can eat their great food, drink some delicious drinks, and just enjoy a Tuesday evening there on Burbank at Court to Table. We're there every week and would love to have you out. You can come by yourself. You can come as a team. It's there at Burbank at Court to Table. It's sports trivia every single Tuesday. We got one more order of business. Luke Foster, let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, take it or leave it. ESPN founder Bill Rasmussen passes away today at the age of 93.
Yep.
The beloved sports network we all know today first premiered in 1979. Thanks to Bill's vision of a 24-hour sports channel, he left a lasting legacy by founding ESPN and transforming the world of sports media. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. That was good. It's a little different than it was in my childhood, which is my fondest memories. Like, the fact that Baseball Tonight is not a thing anymore just, like, breaks my heart. I can go to MLB Network, and that gives me something similar, but, like, the old Peter Gammage, Tim Kirkjian, Harold Reynolds, John Kruk Baseball Tonight was, like, appointment television for me, and I'm bummed that I don't have that anymore.
Agreed. I thought it was appropriate for today.
Yeah.
The pug named Jenny Lou wins World's Ugliest Dog Contest in California. Jenny Lou, a 6-year-old pug who came in runner-up last year.
No, Jenny Lou.
She finally took home the crown as World's Ugliest Dog, proving that persistence pays off even if you're objectively a little hard to look at. Now the pug is $5,000 richer and getting her face on limited edition mug root beer cans. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Like,
I'll take it.
I mean, that was kind of an ugly dog. And, like, the long tongue hanging out of the mouth does not help her cause any there. I wonder what the owner thinks. Like, the owner's probably thinking, man, this dog got me $5,000. I can tell you this, Teeny, my cat, has never gotten me $5,000. She shows up with some expensive bills at the vet, but never a check for $5,000. So shout out Jenny Lou.
It just proves that a dog's unconditional love.
That's right. Is worth $5,000.
Yeah. Kyle Tucker's 0 for 25 slump.
Oh my God, Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Jeez.
0 for 25 in brutal fielding have gotten so bad that he was spotted crying alone in the Dodgers dugout last night. And this is after signing a $250 million contract. He's currently looking less like a star and more like a guy desperately trying to remember how baseball works. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Kyle Tucker played for the Cubs last year, and they tried to re-sign him. He had a really good start to the year last year and then fell on his face. And there was a concern in baseball industries that he was going to sign this monster deal, $250 million, and kind of check out because he's just a no heartbeat guy. There's no emotion, no energy, no juice to him ever. Brilliant hitter. One of the best hitters in baseball over the last 5 years previous to this year. But he's been awful. He dropped a fly ball yesterday. Like, he dropped another fly ball the other day and, like, didn't run to go get it. He, like, kind of jogged over to get it. I texted to one of my buddies, like, this guy just doesn't care. And the Dodgers fans are not having it. Now, the Dodgers are the only franchise that can pay a player $250 million who stinks and, like, recover from that because they have a bunch of other guys who can offset that with their production. Like, if any other team signed a guy for $250 million that was their worst player, your team would just be shot. But not the Dodgers. They can just keep on trucking.
Yeah, there's no crying in baseball, Kyle Tucker. You're extremely rich.
He's very rich.
Please. That's all we got.
That's it for Take It or Leave It. All right. I am, speaking of baseball, I am having so much fun with the Cubs right now in a pennant race, but this is not necessarily about that. I was watching yesterday when I got home. I got home from Shreveport at like 7:30, and I was watching the Cubs game, and they had the lead, and then they acted like a bunch of morons and blew the lead, gave up a homer after screwing up a fundamental baseball situation offensively. And I was cranky, and I'd been up for a while, and it was like 9:45, 10 o'clock, and I went, I'm not going to sit here in the ninth inning and watch them lose this game to the White Sox, who I hate. So I'm just going to turn it off. And I was watching on my phone on the app, and I just turned it off, went to bed. Woke up in the middle of the night, thought, I'm going to check this score. They're going to have lost. It's going to make me really mad, and then I won't be able to go to sleep, so I'm just going to let it go. And then I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to come to write my story for LouisianaSports.net, and I looked at it and was like, we won!
Yep.
A little Nico Horner game-tying hit, and then PCA, 2-run shot in the 10th. We like that.
PCA is so awesome.
He's very good. He's very good.
Awesome.
He signed a huge contract and then got better, which we like that a lot. But I'm having so much fun. I texted one of my buddies, a pennant race in baseball is more fun than the playoffs. Now, the playoffs highs are highs, but the lows are so low, and it's like it happens so quick, especially if you lose. I'm just having fun every day being involved in this in the Cubs. And August kind of sucks for football fans, and we're in football mode because I still feel like we're a long way away from the Clemson game, but the baseball helps.
Yeah, Clemson. We do not play Clemson
2.5
next
weeks.
week.
I know.
By the way,
I'm well aware. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. For everyone that was listening yesterday, I didn't realize that. I thought we were 2 weeks away, and I was like, not like a little bit of a miscommunication. Like I genuinely thought we were 2 weeks out, and I just missed. And that was a very tough realization. There was an extra week to go. But here we are. Appreciate it, Mints, for making our Tuesday shows possible. If you missed any of it, look back at Blake Baker's sound, my thoughts on LSU's defensive backs, Saints looking at Jordyn Tyson. Catch all that on demand. Always remind you, hunt on LSU and hunt on Saints. Matt's going to drive you home next on AFR. We're back tomorrow. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. It doesn't have to be a big and expansive and extensive renovation. When I say renovation and remodel, it can be something simple. The bread and butter for One Bath and Closets is the tub to shower conversion. If you've got a bathtub that's like maybe old and dingy, maybe older and not functioning properly, maybe that you don't ever use because you don't take baths, well, take it out. Use that space more efficiently, more effectively. Take it out and put in that gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Change the look of your bathroom. Change the aesthetic and the functionality of your bathroom with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. I asked David when we sat down last, like, how long does the tub to shower conversion take? And he goes, well, depends on course and scope of the work, but you can usually get that done in 3 to 5 days. That's not invasive or time-consuming, and it can be cost-effective. And if you're looking for financing, they've got it. 0% up to 18 months. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at onebathandclosets.com.
When a capital project